The rolling hills of the Cotswolds have long been a sanctuary of timeless traditions, where stone cottages and winding country lanes whisper secrets of generations past. On this particular afternoon, a heavy gray sky hangs over the landscape, casting a soft, dramatic light across the historic All Saints Church in the quiet village of Kemble. The air is thick with anticipation, and the gentle patter of a sudden summer downpour adds an unexpected layer of romance to an unfolding story that has drawn the eyes of the entire nation. For hours, dedicated crowds of well-wishers and passionate royal watchers have lined the narrow streets, huddled under a sea of umbrellas, completely undeterred by the damp weather. They have traveled from near and far, driven by a deep affection for a family whose private milestones so often capture the public imagination. There is a palpable sense of excitement in the air, a shared feeling that those present are about to witness a truly beautiful chapter in a very modern love story. In a world often dominated by fleeting headlines and chaotic events, moments of genuine celebration bring people together, offering a welcome antidote to the pressures of everyday life. As we prepare to take you inside this remarkably intimate and elegant gathering, where tradition meets contemporary romance, we invite you to become a part of our growing community. If you love discovering the hidden details behind major national celebrations and appreciate the deep history that shapes these extraordinary moments, please take a second to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the stories everyone is talking about. Today, the focus is entirely on a quiet corner of Gloucestershire, where a gathering of immense significance is taking place behind closed doors, away from the grand palaces but filled with the highest echelons of society. The arrival of sleek vehicles with police escort signals that this is no ordinary weekend service, but rather a profound family milestone that blends the grandeur of heritage with the warmth of personal devotion. As the church bells begin to echo through the rain-soaked valley, they signal the beginning of a ceremony that is both deeply personal and intensely scrutinized, serving as a reminder of how the threads of family, duty, and love intertwine in the most public of lives. The atmosphere inside the historic stone walls is one of reverent joy, a sanctuary where a couple can pledge their futures to one another, surrounded by those who matter most. Outside, the crowd waits with bated breath, eager to catch a fleeting glimpse of the elegance and grace that define such landmark occasions, proving that the magic of a shared celebration remains as powerful as ever. The quiet solemnity of the Cotswolds was beautifully shattered as the main procession began, revealing the core of this long-awaited celebration. Peter Phillips, the eldest grandson of the late Queen Elizabeth II, stood waiting at the altar of All Saints Church, ready to embark on a new chapter of his life with his bride, Harriet Sperling. When the doors finally opened, the breath of the assembled congregation was collectively caught. Harriet looked absolutely resplendent, the epitome of bridal elegance, as she moved down the aisle wearing a stunning white traditional lace gown designed by Amelia Wickstead. The dress featured an elegant square neckline and exquisite lace detailing that perfectly captured a balance between classic royal tradition and modern sophistication. Walking her down the aisle was her brother Nicholas, a deeply moving gesture performed in honor of their late father, Rupert Sanders. To complement her gown, the bride wore sophisticated Jimmy Choo shoes and delicate Pragnell earrings, but it was the magnificent tiara anchoring her elegant bridal bun that truly stole the show. This priceless diamond piece, known as the Pragnell family tiara, carries immense historical weight, having been worn by generations of the British jewelry firm, including appearances at the historic coronations of both King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II. The intricate design beautifully incorporates elements from both the Edwardian and Art Deco periods, highlighting a glittering festoon of delicate leaves and floral motifs. Observers noted that it bears a striking resemblance to a beloved tiara owned by Princess Anne, which was famously showcased in her official 50th birthday portrait. Carrying a breathtaking bouquet crafted by the renowned floral artist Millie Richardson, which featured sweet peas, myrtle, and lily of the valley, Harriet was the absolute picture of wedded bliss. The inclusion of myrtle carried a profound dual significance, serving as a cherished tradition within both Harriet's own family and the royal family, symbolizing deep love, enduring beauty, and peace. Holding her beautiful wedding train were 3 bridesmaids, who looked exceptionally elegant in matching white dresses and delicate floral garlands. The young attendants were Harriet's 14-year-old daughter, Eugenie, alongside Peter's own daughters, 15-year-old Savannah and 14-year-old Isla, whom he shares with his former wife, Autumn Kelly. The sight of the 3 girls working seamlessly together provided a touching testament to the beautifully blended family Peter and Harriet have created. The sacred service was expertly led by the Reverend Dr. Steve Bullock, with a moving marriage blessing and address delivered by the Reverend Nicky Gumbel, creating an atmosphere that was both grand in scope and deeply spiritual in nature. The guest list itself read like a roll call of the British monarchy, proving that despite the private nature of the event, it remained a major royal occasion. King Charles III and Queen Camilla led the royal contingent, arriving with a warm wave to the gathered crowds before taking their places. However, due to a packed schedule of official duties, the monarch and his wife had to make a relatively swift departure immediately following the service, being whisked away to a waiting helicopter to attend the Epsom Derby. The Prince and Princess of Wales also graced the occasion, drawing massive cheers from the 300 well-wishers who had braved the elements. Kate Middleton looked typically elegant and was the absolute picture of poise in a sophisticated 750-pound Roland Mouret outfit, which she perfectly paired with a bespoke Jane Taylor London hat. Beside her, Prince William looked dapper in a well-tailored suit complemented by a blue tie and a matching waistcoat. Joining them were the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, as well as Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, who arrived with their respective husbands, Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi and Jack Brooksbank. The presence of Beatrice and Eugenie drew particular interest from royal observers, coming just one day after a highly publicized and controversial report by the National Audit Office was laid bare. The report revealed that the sisters had been secretly subsidized for years by their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and now by their uncle, King Charles, never personally paying a penny in rent, despite living in exclusive properties at Kensington Palace and St. James's Palace for nearly 2 decades. Despite the intense public scrutiny surrounding the siblings, they appeared firmly back in the family fold, sharing warm kisses on the cheek with Prince William and Peter's sister, Zara Tyndall. Zara herself was a vision in a stunning blue ensemble, beaming happily alongside her husband, Mike Tyndall. Their daughters, 12-year-old Mia and 7-year-old Lena, also attended, with young Lena retaining her title as the most playful young royal by joyfully singing in the rain while clutching a colorful unicorn umbrella. As the ceremony concluded and the bells of All Saints Church rang out, the newly married couple emerged to an impromptu umbrella guard of honor formed by their guests to shield them from the heavy rain. Stepping out into the Cotswold air, Peter and Harriet stood beneath a massive white umbrella, sealing their marriage with a sweet and joyful kiss that delighted the crowd. The groom looked incredibly smart in his suit, his spirits entirely undampened by the wet weather, while his right-hand man for the day, childhood friend Andrew Tucker, helped coordinate the departure. The happy couple then made a stylish exit in a vintage Rolls-Royce, bound for a private wedding reception at Gatcombe Park, the magnificent home of Princess Anne and Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence. Every detail of the church service and the subsequent reception was flawlessly organized by the long-standing and trusted event curator Peregrine Armstrong-Jones of Bentley's Entertainments, a blue-chip firm famous for overseeing high-profile events like David and Victoria Beckham's wedding. The stunning floral archways decorating the church and the reception venue were also the work of Millie Richardson, who utilized sustainably minded, eco-conscious, and locally grown English flowers. In a beautiful gesture of community spirit, the couple arranged for all the flowers from the church to be distributed among the local residents who had supported them throughout the planning of their special day. To truly understand the profound depth of this Cotswolds gathering, one must look beyond the beautiful floral arches and the glittering diamonds to the intricate history of the people involved. Peter Phillips, who stands 19th in the line of succession to the British throne, has always occupied a unique position within the royal family. As the eldest grandchild of the late Queen Elizabeth II and the son of Princess Anne and her former husband, Captain Mark Phillips, Peter has spent his life navigating the delicate balance between public duty and private independence. Born without a royal title at his mother's request, Peter has carved out a successful career in sports management and event production, yet his personal milestones remain fundamentally intertwined with the history of the monarchy. This wedding marks a beautiful and hard-won second chance at love for the 48-year-old groom, who publicly announced his divorce from his first wife, Autumn Kelly, back in 2020. The journey that brought him to this altar is one defined by maturity, mutual respect, and the careful blending of two distinct families, culminating in his engagement in August 2025. In a touching tribute to his heritage, the sparkling engagement ring he presented to Harriet was meticulously designed by the very same historic British jeweler responsible for crafting Queen Elizabeth II's iconic 1946 engagement ring, creating a silent, beautiful link across generations. The bride, 45-year-old Harriet Sperling, brings her own rich tapestry of experiences to this royal union. Born Harriet Eleanor Sanders to Mary Moss Hoskins and her late father, Rupert Sanders, she is a woman of accomplished professional standing and deep personal conviction. Harriet has dedicated her life to public service, working tirelessly as a highly respected pediatric nurse specialist for the National Health Service. Beyond her wealthy connections, which include a shared family relation to the Duke of Gloucester through her late father's lineage, Harriet is a proud mother to her 14-year-old daughter, Georgina, from a previous relationship. Harriet has spoken with remarkable candor about how the profound challenges of single motherhood eventually led her to discover a dormant faith. The end of a challenging 7-year relationship served as a major turning point in her life, prompting her to seek solace in the church. This deep-seated Christian faith forms the foundation of her life and added a layer of immense spiritual significance to the promises she and Peter made to one another. The joyful presence of their respective families at the altar, including Peter's father, Captain Mark Phillips, and his half-sister, Stephanie Hosier, with her husband William, highlighted the supportive network surrounding the newlyweds. Yet, as with any major royal gathering, the absences spoke just as loudly as the attendees, reflecting the ongoing complexities and underlying tensions within the modern House of Windsor. Most notable among the absent family members was the groom's first cousin, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Sources close to the family reveal that the Montecito-based prince has not spoken to Peter in several years, and the two have completely lost touch over time. This estrangement largely stems from an incident that took place 18 years ago during Peter's first wedding to Autumn Kelly. On that occasion, Peter struck a highly controversial £500,000 deal with a glossy celebrity magazine for exclusive photographic rights, completely blindsiding senior members of the royal family. Prince Harry, who had used that specific family occasion to introduce his then-girlfriend, Chelsea Davy, to his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, for the very first time, was absolutely furious to discover their intimate family moments splashed across public pages without consent. This historic breach of trust deeply wounded the princes, who were actively fighting to preserve the anonymity of their partners, and it initiated a long-term rift that time has yet to heal. Furthermore, the presence of Prince William at this wedding inevitably guaranteed Harry's absence, as the relationship between the two brothers remains frostier than ever. Another significant individual excluded from the guest list was Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, as the king and senior royals continued their strict, coordinated efforts to distance the institution of the monarchy from the ongoing public fallout of his past scandals. The striking contrast between these complex family dynamics and the joyful warmth displayed by the guests in attendance underscores the human reality of the royal family. For the hundreds of dedicated local residents and passionate observers who gathered behind the barriers in Kemble, this wedding was a beautiful celebration of happiness amidst a backdrop of challenging world events. Local well-wishers shared stories of their own brief, treasured encounters with King Charles over the decades, reflecting a deep, generational bond between the community and the crown. As the vintage Rolls-Royce carried Peter and Harriet away toward their private reception at Gatcombe Park, It marked the beginning of a quiet, shared future, built on a foundation of faith, family, and mutual devotion. This elegant Cotswolds wedding will undoubtedly be remembered, not just as a grand royal gathering of high society, but as a deeply meaningful celebration of love, resilience, and new beginnings for a remarkably modern couple.